So it appears pretty much all but confirmed by now that Sony has a new improved PlayStation on the way. And there has been a lot of pushback by gamers, with some claiming that this is going to kill the consoles. You put out a new piece of hardware, it's going to kill the consoles, going to kill PlayStation. One of the biggest arguments that I hear in favor of this case is the claim that this is going to confuse the markets. We can't handle this stuff. You know, parents are going to walk into a store, be so confused that there's two different versions of a console. They're, pea-sized, fluoride-saturated brains can't comprehend it. They'll throw their hands up in the air and say, just screw it. Never mind the fact that each year we get bombarded with different models of almost every other technology in the field. Look at TVs. You got LEDs, LCDs, OLEDs, DLPs, plasma, 4K, HDR, flat screens, curved screens. Phones, you got Samsung, you got the Samsung Galaxy, you got the Galaxy Edge, you got the Galaxy Note, you got the Galaxy Tab. Do you think people walk into a phone store, see all those, and just think, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to get one of those jitterbugs that are designed for people who piss their depends? Why do we assume that console buyers are so retarded that they can't comprehend between picking an elite model and an entry model gaming rig? So I'm just not buying this narrative at all. I don't think PS4 sales are going to suffer. In fact, if anything, sales should only increase, because those 40 million units that are already out there, that have already been sold in people's homes, they're not going to disappear like a queef in the night. They are still there. So even if you end up selling your old console, it's still going to somebody else who now can subscribe to PlayStation Plus or Now or buy games for. So you're still going to have sales there for Sony. Plus, you're going to incentivize some people who had already owned a PlayStation 4 to upgrade and buy another system when they originally didn't plan to have a new PlayStation 4 this early on. Plus, you're going to get other sales from people who are maybe enthusiasts who didn't jump in on the consoles to begin with because they said, look, these systems are too weak. They can't hit 1080p. They can't hit 60 frames per second. Hell, they can't even hold 30 frames per second. And not only that, I don't think that you're going to kill the original PlayStation 4. In fact, I think you're going to sell more of them because Sony is going to turn around and end up decreasing the price of these systems. So again, you're going to have an entry-level console, and you're going to have another console that's geared more towards enthusiasts. And we already know that these companies don't make money off selling hardware. The hardware is simply the housing that's needed to get to the heart of the money. So yes, they want to sell hardware, but they don't make their money off that. But if they got more hardware out there onto the market, then that's more ways for them to sell software. So by giving you more options, more choices, then you're expanding your opportunities to sell software. Well, Dragon, this isn't what consoles are supposed to be about, We've always had one system that's lasted for several years. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be the first to introduce you to the 21st century. If you haven't noticed, nothing changes until somebody decides to change it. Again, the consoles are about the only piece of hardware where you're going to find that stays stuck with shitty components while the technology inside them continues to advance almost every single year. Just because it's always been shitty doesn't mean that it always should be. Now, we can argue that these machines should have been more capable to begin with. We shouldn't even be having this conversation at this point in time. I can agree with that. But unless you got a time machine, there's nothing we can do about it now. So you either look at where you're at and look forward. I mean, hindsight is always 2020. And again, these are all just options. So if you already own a PlayStation, you like your PlayStation, you can keep your PlayStation. Nobody's taking that away from you. It's still going to be there. It's still going to be supported. The games are still coming. If you're happy with the games, you're happy with the current performance, then how does this impact you in any way whatsoever? Unless your ego is just telling you that you have to have the newest, baddest thing out on the market, which if that's the case, then Sony loves you. So I was going to kind of get into the Xbox in this video, but I'm just going to save that for the next one because this is going to be just way too long. So in the next video, we'll tap into that. And so kind of just take this as a prelude, and I'll explain why I think Microsoft will and has to come out with a new system if they want to stay relevant. Post your thoughts below. Will a new system kill Sony and the PlayStation 4, or do you believe it's only going to help them? That does it for me, the Red Dragon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Are you listening? Damn.